Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Fluctus Channel. The Panama Canal is one of the greatest shortcuts ever built for world shipping, cutting across the Isthmus of Panama to link the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. Instead of sailing thousands of miles around South America, vessels enter a controlled water highway of channels, lakes, locks, tugboats, gates, and trained pilots. In stronger years, the canal has handled more than 13,000 annual transits, and its collections have reached billions of dollars. In fiscal year 2025, the Panama Canal Authority reported about $5.7 billion in revenue, showing how much global trade depends on this narrow route. By June 2026, the canal was averaging about 35 daily transits for that fiscal period, meaning every day brings a new line of bulk carriers, tankers, container ships, gas carriers, cruise ships, naval vessels, and smaller boats waiting for their scheduled turn. Each arrival is timed like an appointment because the canal must balance ship size, water use, direction of traffic, and available pilots across a route that never truly sleeps. The canal works because Panama is not a flat ditch between two oceans. Ships must be raised from sea level to Gatun Lake, carried across the inland waterway, then lowered again toward the opposite coast. That movement depends on traditional lock systems for Panamax vessels and expanded locks for larger Neo-Panamax ships. Each chamber acts like a giant water elevator. A ship enters slowly, gates close behind it, and water flows in or out by gravity. No giant pump lifts the vessel. The ship rises when the chamber fills and sinks when water drains away, while pilots, tug crews, line handlers, and lock operators watch every meter of movement. The approach begins with patience. Large ships do not simply aim at the lock and drive in alone. Canal pilots board the vessel, tugboats move into position, and crews prepare lines. At the lock entrance, the ship aligns with the chamber, sometimes with tugboats pushing or pulling gently to control angle and speed. Smaller boats also use the canal, but they are grouped and managed differently because a yacht or workboat cannot be treated like a container ship. Every vessel must fit the schedule, obey instructions, and move only when the lock team is ready. Traffic control becomes as important as machinery because one delayed ship can affect many others behind it. Along the lock walls, electric locomotives known as mules run on rails. These machines do not drag the ship through like a train. Their main job is to keep the vessel centered as it moves through the chamber. Lines connect from the ship to the mules, and the operators adjust tension while the ship uses its own power or tug assistance. This prevents the hull from scraping concrete walls that can sit very close beside a wide vessel. The mules climb and descend along the lock edge, matching the ship's slow movement through each stage. Water reservoirs beside the expanded locks help save fresh water. In the newer lock design, large side basins collect part of the water from a chamber and reuse it for the next transit. This matters because every lockage consumes fresh water from the canal's lake system, and drought can limit how many ships pass each day. The side basins reduce waste by moving water between chambers and reservoirs before it finally drains toward the ocean. Operators balance speed with conservation because the canal is not only an engineering machine, It is also a water management system, serving shipping, communities, and the country around it. The gates complete the choreography. Massive steel doors open only when water levels are equal and the chamber is safe. A ship may move from one chamber to the next, rise again, then continue toward the lake. On the other side of Panama, the sequence reverses. Water drains, gates open, and the vessel descends towards sea level. From above, the process looks slow, but every movement is measured. Tugboats hold position. Mules maintain alignment. Pilots give orders, and lock operators control water and gates. The result is a crossing that turns difficult geography into working engineering, joining two oceans through patience, gravity, teamwork, and precision. For the U.S. Navy, the Panama Canal is more than a commercial shortcut. It is a strategic maritime passage that helps ships shift between oceans without making the long voyage around Cape Horn. When Navy vessels transit the canal, the process connects national mobility with one of the world's busiest shipping routes. A ship entering from the Caribbean side may pass through the locks, cross Gatun Lake, move through the Culebra Cut, and descend toward the Pacific. For warships, support ships, and hospital ships, that transit can save time when a deployment, repair cycle, humanitarian response, or command requirement depends on reaching the other ocean quickly. The canal also creates a predictable planning point, where schedules, pilots, tug support, weather, security, and diplomatic procedures must align before a military ship continues. USNS Comfort gives a clear example. As a Navy hospital ship, Comfort is not built to fight like a destroyer. It is a floating medical facility, painted white with red crosses, designed to provide operating rooms, patient beds, medical specialists, and disaster response capability. When Comfort transits the Panama Canal, its movement is carefully managed because the ship is large, slow, and mission-focused. Canal pilots guide the vessel. Tugboats help maintain alignment. Crew members watch clearances while the ship passes through concrete chambers. The canal allows a medical platform to move from one theater to another critical area with far less delay than a route around the continent. For humanitarian missions, saved time can matter when patients, supplies, and emergency teams are needed quickly. Combat ships use the canal for different reasons. USS Fitzgerald, an Arleigh Burke-class destroyer, represents the type of fast, heavily armed warship that may need to move between fleets. A destroyer carries missiles, guns, sensors, and anti-submarine systems. But inside the canal, it must behave like every other large vessel, slow, controlled, and guided by local procedures. The engines are no longer about speed. They are about gentle corrections, while tugs, pilots, and line teams protect the hull from concrete walls and narrow water. The first Panama Canal transit by USS Freedom, a littoral combat ship, showed how newer Navy designs still depend on old strategic geography. LCS vessels were built for speed, shallow water missions, and modular operations, but to shift between operating areas, they still benefit from canal access. USS Milwaukee later moved through with tugboats and electric mules assisting the transit, reminding everyone that even advanced ships surrender some control to the locks. Sailors monitor lines, bridge teams confirm orders, and the ship moves at the pace of the canal, not the pace of the open sea. The Suez Canal offers another comparison. Unlike Panama, Suez is a sea-level canal without locks, linking the Mediterranean and Red Seas. When the Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group transited Suez, scout craft, tugs, escorts, and traffic control helped move a naval formation through a narrow passage. Aircraft carriers are too large for many constrained routes, so every canal transit becomes a planning event. Both canals show why waterways matter to navies. Oceans may be wide, but choke points decide distance and timing. A canal can shorten voyages, speed deployments, support humanitarian missions, and connect fleets across the globe. Yet, the process always returns to basics: pilots, tugs, scouts, line handlers, bridge teams, and careful speed. Whether a hospital ship passes through Panama or a carrier group moves through Suez, naval power still depends on narrow water, expertise, and disciplined crews guiding enormous vessels through spaces where there is little room for error. These passages prove that strategy is often measured not only in weapons, but in access. Canals and strategic ports matter because modern military response depends on speed. The United States does not wait to move every vehicle and container from home after a crisis begins. It uses prepositioning, placing equipment closer to potential operating areas before it is urgently needed. Army preposition stocks in Europe support exercises such as Defender 23 with NATO allies and partners, allowing troops to fall in on stored vehicles and supplies instead of waiting for every item to cross the Atlantic. The process begins with planning what must be stored, where it should be positioned, and how quickly soldiers can draw it. Vehicles are maintained, inspected, fueled, tagged, and organized by unit needs. Containers hold tools, spare parts, communications gear, tents, ammunition support equipment, and repair kits. When an exercise begins, the system turns from storage into motion. Soldiers arrive, sign for equipment, inspect vehicles, check batteries and fluids, load supplies, and move toward training areas. What looks like parked machinery becomes a ready force when maintenance, paperwork, and transport all come together. Ports complete the other half. At Bremerhaven, Germany, ships such as Ark Endurance and MV Green Bay have arrived carrying U.S. Army equipment for Defender Europe. The operation begins before the ramp drops. Port officials, military planners, stevedores, drivers, and safety teams organize lanes, staging areas, customs steps, and convoy routes. Once unloading starts, vehicles roll carefully down ramps, ground guides position them, and crews move containers, trailers, armored vehicles, and support trucks into marked areas. Every movement is tracked as equipment passes through the port. This is where the Panama Canal story connects to military logistics. A lock can move a ship between oceans. A strategic canal can shorten a deployment. A port can turn sea lift into ground power. Together, they form a chain that allows a military force to respond across continents. From a container ship rising through Panama's locks, to Navy vessels crossing between oceans and Army vehicles rolling off ships in Germany, Global movement depends on infrastructure, timing, and people who guide heavy machines safely under pressure. The genius is not only in lock gates or ships, it is in the system that keeps cargo, forces, and missions moving across the world. That is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any of our new content. Thank you.